'Twas the night before Goutmas, and all through the fort, not a peep could be heard, except for one big snort.
Can you believe this, Jasper? For some reason, I just can't sleep tonight. Well, I suppose if I'm going to stay up, I might as well make something to drink. What the? SnortBucks? Where did this come from? Huh? What's going on out there? It must be those stupid kids again. What?
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow.
Nice, isn't it?
Ah! Who are you?
Just a cute pup in a sharp suit.
Oh.
Giddy up, let's go. Let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderful.
You know, I don't get it. Why would you all do something like this for me?
'Tis the season, Phil. Don't worry about it. Here, have a SnortBucks coffee on the house.
Wow, now that's a robust coffee.
Well, we are the best beverage company.
You said it. Wait a minute. Dogs don't wear suits, and they don't talk. Oh no! Wah! Huh? No!
And so SnortBucks was had, but not by the king, for that salty delight is a detractor thing. Happy Goutmas to all from SnortBucks.
Oh boy. Season's greetings and happy holidays from everybody here at GTG Networking Productions, DSPNEWS, the Snort Report, SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons. That's a thing. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Welcome to 12 Days of Goutmas, part of 25 Days of Goutmas. You know, that's a thing. And hopefully you guys are all doing well. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get the ball rolling here, if you will. Let's see here. We're gonna go over a classic from Snort Brunel. Let's see. Dark Side Phil reveals the problem. Peep the date, November 24th of 2017. Let me paint the picture for you and whatnot before I start passing out steaming hot cups of SnortBucks here. So we're coming off of Panda Lee leaving his ass, right? We're coming off of a reveal of the tax issues, right? State and business occupation tax, whatever. Oh, actually, we're not even there yet. Actually, we're almost there. I think he's about to reveal that. We're coming off of Panda leaving us. We're coming off of, hey guys, I have this problem going on. I have these issues going on, but you know, I'm trying to work things out. I just need you guys to be nice to me. If you guys would just, if more people would just give me a break, man, I very much appreciate it. We're coming off of him revealing that he's been talking to someone for the last couple of months, and he has something really nice going on behind the scenes, so on and so forth. And now we're at Thanksgiving Day, where he's ready to spill his guts and whatnot to start the or to continue really the campaign of Save the House and so on and so forth. Now, in hindsight, we have a much better idea of what actual foolery buffoonery, if you will, that was going on. But it's always nice to go back over these things, just to, just to look at it with a new set of eyes, if you will, or a fresh set of eyes. So that's what our plan is. So, let's see here. As you guys know, all rounds of SnortBucks is on me. That's a thing, big ups. And let's go ahead and set our scene, ladies and gentlemen. Let's set our scene, and we could get to work. Get to work. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so all right. And let's go ahead and give proper introductions, and let's go ahead on our way and whatnot. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with SnortBucks, DSPGaming, revealing the problem. This is from November 24th of 2017. As you know, the links to the videos that I use will be down in the description. Womp womp. And I'm not sure, actually, real quick, a big ups and a massive shout out to Chio, who may at this particular point, well, they've blessed us with another amazing SnortBucks coffee commercial. I'm not sure if it's going to be in this video or in the next. You'll know it when you see it. So big ups to Chio and whatnot for always coming through for us and whatnot. Very much appreciate it. Wasn't expecting any early Christmas gifts, but I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much, Chio. Like, forever in your gratitude for that. Thank you so very much. Or you're forever in my gratitude, I should say. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Okay, so now that we've done that, that's important. I'm not sure if you're gonna see it though today or not. You might have. You'll know when you guys see it. You'll know it when you see it. Let's see. But with that being said, without further ado, yet again, thank you guys for spending the lead up to Goutmas with us. We very much appreciate it. And timestamps, there should be a timestamp down there in there just to kind of help you guys out. And without further ado, here we go. Buggy mechanics already. That wasn't supposed to happen like that. Whatever. All right, we're in the building. I don't smell no holiday bacon cooking. Here we go.
Play the game. Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh my god.
That never gets old.
Sound good?
And honestly, now I'm gonna tell you guys the truth, okay?
Yeah, because you're good at telling us the truth.
Being completely honest with all of you, it's not just one thing, it's two things.
Oh boy.
One thing is very personal. It's regarding my health, and I'm not gonna even tell you the details about it, because honestly, someone's health is their own business, unless there's a reason to publicly come out and talk about it.
He never really circled back around on this, believe it or not. Now, don't get me wrong. Since then, we've had ear infections, and he's had problems with his skin, and he's had other little nonsense or whatever. But whatever it was that he was trying to build up here, the erectile dysfunction thing is funny as hell. He never really circled back to it. He never really brought that up and whatnot. That was one of those, we had to break the glass type situations there. But he never actually expounded upon what his issue was, obviously.
I'm not going to talk about that portion of it at this point. Maybe in the future I will bring it up, but I've been having health problems. I've actually, see, this is the thing. You guys don't even know. I have health problems. I've had chronic health problems my whole life that I never told you about. And it's not the back injury, it's other stuff. And I don't let it affect me, even though I have chronic health problems that I have. I mean,
reality is if it wasn't something physical, it was more than likely something mental. The dude clearly has mental issues. And I assume that's what it really was. And he just didn't want it to tell anybody about it for obvious reasons.
Tell you about them, and I don't let them try to hinder what I do here on stream or whatever. Okay. But I've been having a few complications that have been negatively affecting me. Let's put it that way.
And it's funny, after the caretaker leaves, you know what I'm saying? After our child bride daughter leaves and whatnot, all of a sudden we got all these issues and problems.
To the point where long term, Could it affect me really badly? Yes. Not yet, but long term it could. And I am worried about that, and that's always going to be something. Health is something we all worry about all the time, right? So I'm not going to go into detail, but FYI, that's one of the things that's been affecting me. And yes, eventually it could really negatively affect me, all right?
It's funny though that we don't take cats' long-term health in consideration, right? Right? It's real interesting how that's not a concern at all. And DSP really didn't start quote unquote shedding that piggy fat until what, 2022? Maybe you could say as early as 2021, maybe. So it's funny how he had spent those early years concentrating on getting Cat all plump and whatnot, and then he decided to want to lose the weight when she was in a position where she was too heavy, and I suppose in his eyes too unattractive, and couldn't leave him for a better prospect. That's just my own personal theory on that. It's not necessarily a Theo theory, but it's what I'm leaning towards.
But the other thing that's been happening at the same time is that, let's see how I begin here, all right?
Yeah, set up the lie.
Just listen to the whole story. Don't assume and jump.
And that's how you know it's a lie. And that's how you know it's a lie. Because he knows the story isn't very good, and he doesn't think it's going to be able to completely and utterly take shape. But keep in mind, when you start getting into these big situations like this back in the day, it wasn't about convincing his dents entirely. It was also about keeping the detractors off his neck too. You got to keep that in mind. And that's why some of these stories sound the way they are. You know what I'm saying? Because he thinks everybody's stupid. But, excuse me, he clearly realizes that he has an opposition out there that will pick that shit apart if he's not careful with what he says. Amazing. The mental gymnastics were off the fucking hook back in those days, boy. I gotta tell you, off the hook.
Off or at any point. Listen to the whole story. Here's the whole story. When I started, way back when I started doing YouTube for a job back in 2011, okay?
I'm more about looking forward than looking back.
I knew that this was going to be something different, something weird. It's not like having a normal job, a 9 to 5.
This is the word vortex. This doesn't mean shit. This is all empty calories. This is word salad. It's just to keep you off balance for when the real shit pops up.
5 job. It's not like it's easy to keep.
And it's not a job. This is most certainly not a job. If you see how some of the streamers who didn't make it have been dealing with this shit throughout 2025, to be honest with you, even I'd say really as early as early 2024. Yeah, this shit isn't a job, bro. Not at all. Not at all. And it's way too volatile, to be honest with you. So, especially this year, especially in 2025. So, because there's not nearly as much disposable income as idiots like DSP would tell you, or what he believes there is. So, that was always bound to fail in one way or another. And DSP's been fortunate enough to skirt by, but can't do it forever. But anyway, all of this right here is just word salad. It's all just a vortex. It's a word vortex that doesn't mean shit. It's his setup before he throws the pitch.
Of all your finances.
Or his wind up, let's say, before he throws the pitch.
And everything, right? It's going to be very difficult. I'm going to have to keep an expense, a running budget. You know, here's all the expenses I spent on the business that maybe I can, do a write-off on my taxes.
Now, this is the same idiot who can't balance a checkbook and who doesn't know how to budget. Like, has literally admitted he doesn't know how to budget. And he's talking about balancing a budget. Can't even balance the scales for his wife, but he thinks he can balance a budget. Okay, gotcha. I roger that.
Here's my money. Do I want to keep a separate bank account? Very, very complicated to do what I do.
Wow.
And combing over this, given that we know about the bankruptcy and whatnot, because obviously that didn't happen until 2020. Boy, this changes the perspective in a massive sort of way. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
All right, it is. And every year, it's a nightmare to try to figure out at that one time of the year when I have to figure out, gee, what do I owe taxes on this? Do I owe that? Do I get a refund this year? Do I roll it over? How many expenses can I write off? And so, when I started way back when making money doing YouTube full-time, I got a tax attorney to be my full-time tax attorney.
Oh, I can't wait to cut this up. And keep in mind, we're talking about a tax attorney. Like, remember, we're not even in this isn't bankruptcy yet. This is the bankruptcy wasn't until 2020, and that's when he was talking about, oh, my accountant, my tax attorney, my tax accountant. He kept flinging through the 3 of them because he didn't know which one was which because he's stupid. Anyway, So keep that in mind. This is the precursor to that nonsense.
Now, I didn't just get any old tax attorney.
I did research.
Treat it.
All right, I did research. This is back when I lived in Connecticut, back in around, I'd say, was it? I'm trying to remember if it was 2011. I don't remember the first year that I actually did this. Okay. So, I did research. I found a guy in Connecticut, 30 years experience, actually taught accounting and finance at universities before, okay? And had these awards and degrees, and it wasn't his full-time job to do it 100% of the time, but it was one of his sources of income that during a year he had clients who he would do their taxes for them.
All right, let me cut this shit because he's lying. The guy who did his taxes back in Connecticut was a family friend of his parents and whatnot. That's what it was. So my guess is that his father was doing his taxes until he basically became a sole proprietor. When that happened, his father went ahead and referred him to a family friend of his. He said he would handle the taxes on Phil's part as a favor to his parents. More than likely, he did it for free. That's essentially where we're at on that. Because do you really see DSP doing all of this research? No. It's very clear that Daddy was taking care of all of his taxes for him. Hell, Linda probably could have been doing his taxes before he ended up fucking deciding to beg online for a living. And they just referred him to a family friend and whatnot. And he didn't charge Phil as a favor. All Phil had to do was keep the paperwork together. And I'm sure he bungled that. He completely, not even bundled that shit. Or bungled that shit. He fucking botched it. And he probably did it a few times before he finally got it right. So it explains why he has to take multiple nights off when he has to do his taxes. Same concept. Because this idiot doesn't keep track of shit. And digitally, he can't find nothing.
And when I lived in Connecticut, you know, from 2011 to 2014, when I was doing this as a full-time job, my taxes were done through him. And every year what I would do is I put together this spreadsheet of all my expenses and send all the information to him. And he basically put it together so that it would be easy. All right, an easy system, no problems, nothing, you know. Every year I just sent him the information. He has a couple questions. Boom, we file, we're done. All right. And I pay a shit ton of taxes. Now, one of the major reasons.
But he didn't say how much he pays him. Keep that in mind. Now, and then another thing too. But we'll get to it, but it's even funnier. This idiot moved from fucking Connecticut to Washington State to try to avoid state tax, only to go to literally tax evasion if you think about it. But this idiot literally left the state, left Connecticut, right, so he could avoid the state tax over there, to go to Washington State to pay state and business occupation tax. Which means what, ladies and gentlemen? Two things, actually. It means three things, actually. One, he's stupid. Two, he's retarded. Or three, he did something in Connecticut that he needed to get the fuck up out of there and whatnot. And he needed as much distance as possible. And that's why he chose to go clear across state instead of moving to Florida or Texas or some of the other prospects that he could have gone to. Why clear across fucking the country? Why Washington State, of all places? We'll delve into that later.
Well, I wanted to get out of Connecticut is because Connecticut has what's called a state personal income tax, meaning whatever you earn in the state of Connecticut, the state takes income away from you every year as a tax. So does the federal government. Now, the state doesn't take nearly as much as the federal government, okay? But they take a decent chunk. And I was like, man, I could literally leave the state of Connecticut and move anywhere that doesn't have a state income tax, or I could move to a state that has a much lower income tax and pay less taxes. And what would be the loss? You know, I work from home. I live stream.
And that's why he was purposely avoiding state and business occupation tax. But he made sure Panda paid hers. Keep that in mind. And then that didn't get exposed until after Panda left his ass. Keep that in mind. Oh shit.
Right? So, you know,
So much
what's
fun.
the big deal if I were to move out of Connecticut and go somewhere else and do this? I'd be basically just making more money doing it because I don't have to pay all these exorbitant taxes that I'm paying in Connecticut. So at the time, all right, I did some research on what states did not have personal income tax. I started looking for houses. You all remember this if you're.
But he didn't check and see if any of those states had another type of tax, though. He didn't know if they had personal tax. He didn't know if they had business tax or whatever. He just wanted to make sure whatever Connecticut had, they didn't have. But he didn't see if they had something else. Oh my God. But he did research, though. Oh boy. And he hasn't changed the lick This is 2017, and he hasn't changed the lick. You know what I'm saying? What the hell? It's been, what, 8 years? Fucking A, son.
Long-time viewers, you remember this. It was like 2013, and then 2014, I actually started house hunting. And at that time, I was in constant communication with my tax attorney, saying, gee, you know, what would happen if I were to move, say, to Washington or to Texas or to one of these states that doesn't have a personal income tax? He said, basically, that was it. You just don't pay personal income tax. You just pay the federal. You're good to go. I was like, wow, that's great. You know, that would be really exceptional.
Wait, so what was the point of you doing research if you asked him what would be the stipulations of you moving to one of these other states? The devil's in the Snorts. Like keep game on that shit, because he contradicts himself constantly.
And so as things progressed, right, things progressed more and more. Eventually I came out here in April of 2014 to Seattle area, Washington. I saw several homes while I was out here with my then girlfriend, and we decided on this house. We thought this house was the perfect fit for us. And before I ever took one single step towards buying this house, okay, I up front asked my tax attorney 2 important questions. I said, number 1, are there any other taxes that I'm going to have to pay if I move to the state of Washington outside of the federal income tax? That's number 1.
But I thought you did research, though. See what I'm saying? Disgusting. Disgusting.
He said, no, it's just a personal federal income tax you'll have to pay. Number 2, I asked him, in writing, I still have the fucking email. I said...
Didn't show... Yeah, exactly. Big ups to SnortBucks. Didn't show it, though. He don't mind leaking everybody else's shit, but he won't show this.
Since I'm moving to Washington State, doesn't it make sense that I should get...
That's the same reason why he didn't show the YouTube, he didn't show the email from YouTuber Machinima telling him to delete all those videos. You know what I'm saying? He didn't show that either because it doesn't exist, and he knows it doesn't.
The tax attorney out here who basically has more knowledge of the state laws and stuff like that, to, you know, they'll be more knowledgeable about that. So basically, I'm going to say goodbye to you. You know, this...
That's bullshit. This is what he's figured out in retrospect. Like, you know what I'm saying? After the fact, he's realized, man, maybe I should have gotten an attorney out here. Nah, this part is bullshit. The first part is far more plausible than this right here. The latter is bullshit, for sure, for sure. This is him not wanting to make himself look stupid.
After this year of taxes, once I move to Washington in the summer, you know, I'm going to basically not need your services anymore. That makes sense, right? And he came back...
Then if that was the case, then why didn't he look for a new tax attorney while he was out there then? Or why didn't he do, air quotes, research for a new tax attorney then if that was the case? If you thought you were going to have to sever the relationship with your existing one. Makes you think.
Back to me and said,
Oh no, I'm still able to handle all of your tax concerns. No problem whatsoever. You'll still be fine. Don't worry about it. I can take care of it. You know, I'll do the research. I'm well versed, and we'll take care of I'll still take care of your taxes for you, no matter what.
Now here's the problem with that. Okay, so if this guy allegedly did all of the research and he knew what the parameters were in the state of Washington, then why didn't he tell you about the state and business occupation tax? It would have been only a few keystrokes and he would have found that. And he would have been able to calculate that for you and still been able to do your taxes. I mean, obviously he'd have to, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be some extra steps on his part, but that would be something he could have done. But he never told you that. He told you just do the federal, or that you only need to do the federal and that's the only thing you need to worry about. But DSP has been on a payment plan, or wasn't paying his federal like regularly, even up to this point. So he wasn't even up to date on how he was doing his nonsense here with that, according to him. But then let's go a little bit further. So this guy, so you're saying that this you're automatically got in your head that, hey, because you live in Connecticut and now I'm going to be going to Washington State, you're not going to be able to do my taxes anymore, so I'm going to have to look for someone out here, despite the fact that he didn't do any research and actually look for another person. He's just telling this guy this. But here's my question. How is it, or what is it that he told that guy over the span of middle 2014 up until where we're at in 2017? What was he telling that guy, or whoever his tax attorney was, or his accountant was, or whatever? What was he telling him on what his occupation was that caused that guy to not look further into Washington State, into Washington State's tax code, to find out if he would owe a state or business occupation tax? If he's doing the same thing that he was doing in Connecticut, and DSP tried to escape personal state taxes, but the guy in question who's doing his taxes is well versed throughout apparently the United States for all the different tax codes depending on the state. How did he not pick that up? And what is it that DSP was telling him or not telling him? And the reason why I say that, ladies and gentlemen, is because DSP made sure that Panda was paying her state and business occupation tax. And Panda's information would have been wrapped up with his information when they did their taxes. You see what I'm saying? So how was it that didn't get caught? How was it that didn't get caught, that the tax attorney or whoever didn't catch that? How did that slip through the cracks? That's always been, I'm just now bringing this up, but that's always been something that bothered me, because Phil wasn't doing Panda's taxes, right? He was going ahead and having whoever it was who was preparing his taxes to do it too. Now, did Phil say, do both of our taxes separate? So do mine this way and do, because they weren't married, so it is what it is. So I guess theoretically it'd have to be done separately anyway. So why isn't that a thing? And if DSP is let me cook. And if DSP has multiple places he's pulling income from, Patreon or Pay Me Tons, Teespring, all these different things here, why didn't the tax attorney go through and look at this stuff and be like, maybe you might actually owe some additional taxes because of all these different revenue streams you have going on? Why didn't that pop up? You see what I'm saying? So it makes me wonder, what was DSP telling this guy to not have that guy look further? And remember, DSP is a con artist, he's a scumbag. So any way that he can find cracks or creases or corners in a circle, he's going to go for it. So was he intentionally lying to his tax attorney about all of his different revenue streams so he wouldn't, so he wouldn't have to pay anything extra? And then if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, why is it that when Panda left his ass is all of a sudden when he's having problems? Panda leaves him, let's say between March and May of 2017. I'm sorry. Let's say she leaves somewhere between then. Actually, it's a lot closer than that, but just give me that window. Then all of a sudden he finds out that he owes state and business occupation tax in like September or October. Actually, not even that. I think he revealed that in late August, early September. So yeah, that's why I need to go through this whole saga again. So how does it, you see what I'm saying? Like, just with, as uncoordinated as I am, just with some of the stuff I've thrown at you, it makes me wonder, what was it that he's trying to make it seem like the tax attorney lied to him or misled him or was cheating him in some way. But the reality is he's the one who has all the information and he's sending it to the tax guy. So truth be told, they both may have blundered, but someone was intentionally lying or someone was trying to be misleading. I don't think a guy with 30 years of experience is going to lie to DSP. I don't just see that being a thing. But remember, everybody's out to get DSP, and DSP did nothing wrong. He did everything correct.
Okay.
Okay, right? I'm not the professional here. He is. This is his job. He's a tax attorney. I'm not even exaggerating, guys. I've paid this guy ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, 1 year I think I paid him, I'm not exaggerating, $1,500.
That isn't shit. First off, I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's a lot of money to be paying for someone to do your taxes, I should say, but DSP's stupid. But for one, he wasn't paying that guy. It's very clear that DSP's parents either flipped the bill or it was a favor. Two, that $1,500 just happened to be what it was going to cost him to get a new tax attorney or whatever to take care of his shit after he found out he owed state and business occupation tax. And he started to have problems with his federal. Isn't that a coincidence? I know. I'm a stalker. It is what it is. I'm a cute pup in a sharp suit. I should just be slinging this coffee and shouldn't be saying shit else. You're right. Makes you think, though. It makes you think.
To do my taxes, okay? That was the year that it was the most convoluted. I had like the most income streams, and I had all this shit going on, and it was a lot of extra work, and he had to get it together, all right? I paid this.
But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because he's had Teespring for a while. He had Red Cafe before that. He was getting money through, or he's getting donations through PayPal back in like shit prior to 2010 or pre-2010. So he always had a couple of different revenue streams going on. So why is it so convoluted, you know what I'm saying, now, if you think about it? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
This guy a ridiculous amount of money to do my taxes. Now, you may not realize this, all tax attorneys cost about that much. All right.
Oh, so then it isn't a ridiculous amount of money then, is it? Womp womp.
Right? The only other alternative is to do your taxes yourself, which I never would have done right. I would have fucked them up.
Which makes me think, see, so that goes back to what I told you. He's never done his own taxes. His parents always did it when he had a job. And then when he went freelance, or when he chose to beg freelance, if you will, when he became an independent beggar for profit, obviously someone else had to handle that for him. And that's when his parents stepped in and they found someone who did it, or who did their taxes for them even. Something along those lines.
I wouldn't have done the right write-offs and stuff. Or you could go to like a place like Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block, and they...
And speaking of which, there was a time period too, by the way, around this time actually, that people went on the hunt to try to find this guy. I think they narrowed it down to like 2 people who fit that criteria. I don't know if anybody reached out or not. I'd have to go back through the old Kiwi Farms threads, the original DSP Kiwi Farm thread to find it, which I might do actually, because I'm gonna go over this whole saga anyway. So I may do that just for early context. But I think, you know, people kind of were like, what's done is done. We're like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I think they did narrow it down to like between 1 and 3 people who possibly could have had a connection to DSP and his family.
Charge around like $500, but again, they're not full-time tax attorneys like this guy is, okay? So...
But you said this guy isn't a full-time tax attorney. He was doing this as a separate source of like he was doing this on the side as like another revenue stream. You just said, let me stop.
So, that's what happened. I moved across the country to Washington State as of, what was that? I think it was July 2014. I was told, don't worry about state income taxes anymore. Obviously you're not going to owe Connecticut. You don't live there anymore, right? And no big deal. You know, just pay the federal and you're good to go. So, I did that from, you know.
Okay, wait. Now this leads me to another question. And actually, I could thank Jordy for this, or Wings of Redemption. Was he paying his taxes quarterly at this particular point? Now, I bring that up because Wings says he pays his taxes quarterly, and I don't think that's true. I don't know why I don't think it's true. This just the way he's talked about taxes over the last few years, shit don't sound right. And I kind of want to hit up Lummox and run it by him and catch his personal opinion on it, but I'm not going to bother. But I personally think that don't sound right. Like, I don't think Wings pays quarterly. I think he tells people that, but I don't think he does that. So that's my personal opinion on that. Just the way he's been talking about it over the last few years, something don't sound right. Which makes me think, I don't think DSP pays his taxes quarterly either. If anything, he may even be deferring his taxes for a year or two, but I don't think he's paying quarterly either at all, which might have been part of the reason why he got backed up on the federal tax in the fucking first place. And we know for sure, he started deferring the federal tax to make up for what he owed for the state and business occupation tax. So many questions.
Middle of 2014 until now. And, you know, everything's fine, no problems or nothing, all right? You're not going to believe this.
Scratching, which is already a tell that something's wrong.
You're seriously not going to believe this, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This whole situation I'm in, yes, it is, I'll tell you right now, my tax attorney is at fault for some of the stuff that happened, but wait till you hear the full story. You're not going to fucking believe it. Are you ready? Get ready.
Oh boy. Now remember, DSP's ego has to stand the test of time. It has to be the one thing that stands above all else. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. So we're lying on a faceless person that he's not going to give enough information to where anybody's really going to be able to track them down with certainty. And he's going to spin the story any way he sees fit to make it come out like he's the victim. You guys all know how the ebb and flow works with this shit. It's all par for the course.
Hold on to your butts. So I noticed about early on this year, probably early to middle 2017, I started to get all these extra mailings in the mail, right? Magazines, ads, trade papers.
Now this is a lie too. I'm gonna let him play his cards out before I decide to cook him. But I'm gonna let him do his situation, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
I'm talking like Construction Magazine, science, scientist, doctor, publishing, right? And I'm looking at this shit like, now I know I didn't subscribe to any of it, and it says on it, on the mailing, addressed to DSPGaming. Interesting, right?
Now, he didn't go downstairs and actually, like, show us any of these magazines or anything. So he's got no proof of any of that.
Right? So I start getting all this mail about DSPGaming. And I'm like, why am I getting all this mail I never signed up for DSPGaming? And like I said, it's all business-related, trade-related mailings.
Now, remember, Panda is paying us the state business and occupation tax on her soap business. She is paying it. Keep that in mind. So just off of that alone, and however her taxes are being done, she was basically registered as a business. So, I mean, obviously it depends on how much money she's making. So I'm sure there's some type of criteria on how much she would have to make to be considered. I'm sure that's all a thing. But the point being is that if she is considered a business, if she's paying state and business occupation tax, then I could see them getting business-like peripherals, right? Or advertisements or whatever being sent to them. I can see that. Is it going to have DSPGaming on it? No, but then again, he can't prove that it did. So keep that in mind. And truth be told, that shit could have been sent to them for years. And DSP may have never noticed it because Panda was the one who got the mail. Keep that in mind.
I'm not exaggerating, folks. I'm not even exaggerating. Right now, every 3 days, my mailbox is full. Because whoever this was that...
Why are you waiting every 3 days to get your mail? Something, see what I'm saying? Which backs up my theory about Panda was the one who was checking them. I mean, Panda did damn near everything in that house for the most part. If he was smart and got her license when they got out there in 2014, he'd have literally had her do all the grocery shopping too. He was stupid. And I think he was scared that she was going to abandon him. And that's why he didn't have her get her license until until his income got so low that he had no choice but to get her to do it because it was the only way she could get a job. I mean, even though she was taking the bus for a bit until she finally got her license. So there's that. But if he was smart, he would have went ahead and did that. But he didn't because there was a sense of control. That's the reason why he put off having her get her license, because he wanted to be able to control her movements. Keep her in the house and keep her doing everything around the house as often as possible. And then if they did need to go out, they went out together. Which shows you what kind of paranoid little creature that he is and shit.
Did this, signed me up for like every possible free publication that there is regarding like business and trade, and I'm getting every 3 days a stack of mail this high that fills the mailbox. So every 3 days I have to go empty the mailbox because someone did this to me.
And yet he never thought about flipping through any of those pages, right? Looking for, hey, if you want to stop getting publications from us, call this number or go to this or go to our website and do unsubscribe or whatever. He never thought about doing any of that. He's the type of idiot who gets like junk emails, right? And he just keeps letting it go into a spam instead of, right, maybe going into one of those things. Well, and actually, you got to be careful. Actually, you got to be careful because even with junk mail, if you go and hit unsubscribe on that shit, well, no, because if he's using Hotmail or Gmail, he can literally do that. He doesn't even have to open the actual mailing, the email itself. He can literally just click unsubscribe to all this, and then Gmail, for example, will just drop all of that. Anything that comes from that particular email address, they'll go ahead and block it for him. And yet again, this idiot never thought about doing any of those things. Womp womp.
Okay.
That's insanity.
So that happened, and I've been putting up with that all year. There's nothing I can do about it. I just got to put up with it and throw it.
So you just be a victim. Just stay victimized. All right, fair enough.
Out. That's what I do. I shred it. I shred it all. It goes to the recycling. All of a sudden, oh god, now I can't remember if it was.
And do you really see DSP shredding that? No, it just went right into the trash. It just went right into the trash.
It was even late August or early September at this point. All right, I get a letter in the mail stating that due to some information that has come across the desk of someone, that they suspect
that I, Phil Burnell, own a business called DSPGaming, and I'm doing business in the state of Washington.
Yeah, but the DSP Enterprise thing has been around forever. And what's he mean about doing about he's running a business in the state of Washington when literally he has a business account with Comcast? He literally writes things off on his taxes each and every year as if he's running a business. I mean, don't be wrong, as a YouTuber, you could pretty much write off everything. So, you know what I'm saying? You can pretty much write off anything as a YouTuber and as a Twitch streamer too. Now I think about, well, you stream in general. So it is what it is. So what the fuck are you talking about? There are literally fucking Ask the Kings where people ask him questions about what does he write off, and he writes off everything: new controllers, games, fucking ink for the printer, to do Ask the King, all kinds of shit. Those DSP transits that he's been scamming people on, all that shit's getting written off. I promise you, he's writing all that shit off. He's probably been writing off those DSP transits ever since he's been doing them. So I'm talking about even way, way, way back in the day. The unboxing shit, he writes all that shit off too. That's probably why he's so dead set on doing those unboxings. So he can write it off. So he can make sure, hey, it's in a video, it's on my channel, I did this as a business expense, I can write it off. I wouldn't be surprised by any of that. And I'm not saying that's something unique to him, but you get my drift?
But I'm not doing it properly. I never registered the business, which is legally required in the state of Washington.
Yep.
And I'm not paying taxes. Anything for this, right?
Yeah.
Now, to clarify, not personal income tax. There's no state personal income tax in the state of Washington.
See how he tried to muddy the water with the state business occupation tax shit before we got into this? Oh my God. Oh my God.
However, in the state of Washington, they have what's apparently, which I don't know, I'm not a tax attorney.
I thought you did research though before you went out there. Oh well.
It's called, it's some kind of a business. I don't even know the technical thing, but some kind of a business tax that if you're self-employed in Washington and if you fit certain criteria, like you make a certain amount of money, you get income from certain sources, or you receive certain tax documents from the people who you have contractual agreements with.
Like Twitch, for example.
You're required to register as a business and to pay this business tax in the state of Washington, okay?
Which is the reason why most people, why you see so many, a large demographic of streamers that are in Texas, for example. There's kind of fundamentally a reason for that. Amongst other states, but usually Texas is pretty popular for streamers and content creators. Like shit, the cluster of Call of Duty content creators that are out there is insane, believe it or not. On top of the fact that just living in California is just ridiculous. The cost of living out there is fucking insane.
So I get this letter, and I'm looking at it like, what the hell is this, man? Are you serious? Like, what could this be? Could this be true? This is bullshit. And I read it, I'm like, well, I don't own my own business. I don't, I'm
Been calling it a business for years, but we don't own a business. All right.
not registered. I don't own my own business. I don't. Legally, there's no business out there.
So because I didn't register, well, wait, just before someone takes that clip out of pocket, you know what I'm saying? Just because someone takes that sound clip out of context, he says that he's been saying for years that he has a business, but he says that, hey, because I'm not registered, I'm not an actual business, I'm absolved, if you will, of all of these responsibilities. Which means what, ladies and gentlemen? He purposely didn't register so he could go ahead and slide away clean. But he wasn't willing to give Panda that concession, yet he was the one that was more likely paying Panda's taxes on her state and business occupation tax, so make it make sense. So it's okay for Ree, but not for thee. All right. Or it's mandatory for thee, but not for Ree. Okay, I got you, bro. What a scumbag, son. What a scumbag.
That's called DSPGaming. DSPGaming is just a YouTube channel, right? There's no business called DSPGaming. It doesn't exist. So I knew right from the criteria listed in the letter that this wasn't correct, that something was not right here. So I called the guy back and left him a voicemail explaining. I said, listen, you got it wrong. I don't own my own business.
What time did you call them that you had to leave him a voicemail, or was it on the weekend? And I'm confident that he did that on purpose too. He purposely left them an email. I'm surprised he just didn't write them an email. But I'm confident that he purposely called them off hours so he wouldn't talk to someone directly, so someone can't suss his ass out or confront him, if you will, because he's the type of coward to do that.
I'm not buying or selling. I'm not doing a service. It's internet.
You're selling merch. The fuck are you talking about? Did you forget that? You know, the Teespring that's right above you? I'm sure they send you certain tax documents, my guy. What are you talking about?
videos that people put ads on. It's way different from what you're describing in your letter. Therefore, I don't think I'm qualified under,
But you're a sole proprietor, though. Because you're too stupid, because you were way too stupid and too lazy and you didn't want to kick up the money to fucking form your own LLC. Which, if you had done that, you would have saved yourself way more trouble. Holy shit. But then again, it wouldn't matter because his personal fucking finances are fucked either which way. So all he would have done is ended up tanking the LLC and then end up tanking his own shit either way. So, because he's stupid. So it wouldn't have even mattered regardless. But if you're making the amount of money he's making, you might as well form an LLC. There's no reason why not to. You know what I'm saying? If you're pulling the type of money he's doing. A lot of people do. And whatnot. Just because they can keep their own credit and as well as other things secure and clean. And then and everything's tied to the business. So if shit tanks, it tanks. Holy fuck.
To worry about it or whatever. So he came back to me.
But I mean, I guess it depends on the person though too. It depends on what you're doing. Even if you're making that type of money, you got to go with your own comfort level. I get it. So it is what it is.
He says, well, I got to do my due diligence here. Okay. So at that point, I tried to get my tax attorney from Connecticut involved.
Wait, that makes me think. Okay. So, Chris and Teo, right? Remember how they initially started the website for DSP, right? And then DSP wanted ownership over it. But there was ads on, I thought they said there was ads on that site to help with the like maintenance costs or whatever. And then DSP took that over, right? So let's say, and now keep in mind, I may have heard the story wrong. So keep that in mind. But let's say that I did hear it right. And someone was running ads through the website so they could help with the maintenance costs or whatever. When DSP finally took it over, he wouldn't have been able to run ads because he doesn't have a Google AdSense account. So he was literally tanking all of the maintenance costs on his own, or out of his own pocket, if you will, because he wouldn't have been able, he didn't have a Google AdSense to run it through. Because Machinima's not going to pick that up for him. So either I'm wrong, which is very possible, I wouldn't be the first, that Chris and Teo were, whoever it was that started the site for him, that they were paying for the maintenance costs on their own, which is very possible. Or when they signed everything over to DSP, they went ahead and pulled their AdSense out of that shit because why the fuck wouldn't they? And DSP literally had to tank the cost. And if that's the case, DSP is stupid. He's stupid as shit. Yikes. All right, fair enough. I mean, then again, he only let that website go within the last few years. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was a dead site. It'd been a dead site. You know what I'm saying? I'd say its last big push was probably after the Escort saga. Because, just in case you guys forget, Blood for the Blood Gods, when fucking Brightside Viking went to war with the farms, which ironically enough is his home now. The Kiwi Farms actually embraced Brightside Viking many years later. So that's kind of ironic. So he's over there. Sometimes he posts and sometimes he don't. But when Brightside Viking was going to war with the farms and shit, fucking the farms were like, yo, hey, Phil, you need to go ahead and either put this bitch on a leash or, you know what I'm saying, and denounce this cat, or, you know what I'm saying, people on your fucking site's going to start getting doxxed. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to start shooting fish in a barrel. And DSP and Brightside Viking were like, I think KG too, basically said, nah, they ain't got shit on us. They can't do nothing, yada, yada, yada. People started getting doxxed. People were like, hey, I want my information removed. Get me off this fucking shit. I don't want to get doxxed next. Nothing's going to happen, yada, yada, yada. DSP was on his fucking pre-stream saying, hey, you need to secure your fucking, your identity online. That's how they found you. It doesn't have shit to do with my fucking website. No one compromised shit. Come to find out, the website was compromised because it was old as fuck. and then eventually Brightside Viking got the Blood Eagle treatment. Fucking A, son, that's so silly. Goddamn idiot. Just imagine how many fucking DSP idiots back in those days could have been saved if DSP wasn't a piece of shit. Imagine that.
All right, I tried to say, what's going on here? You know, this guy is saying that maybe I qualify for having to register as a business and pay business tax and all of this. What's going on? All right, and at the same time, I was still in contact with this guy who apparently was investigating me. So I asked him, I said, you know, I'm just curious, how did this happen? You know, how did you find out about DSP Gaming? Because it's not registered anywhere.
That sounds like something a criminal would say. How did you find out about me? Oh, fuck. Did you forget that you were writing your shit off as business taxes each and every year? What the fuck do you mean? The system is slow, but sooner than later it catches up to everybody. God damn.
Like that. And he said, well,
We got an anonymous tip.
Now the truth is that might have actually happened, but something tells me they were on the state was on his ass and whatnot before this phantom tip came in and helped this anonymous, let's say that this anonymous tip came in and tipped them off. I honestly think it all bundles or it all draws back to Panda and when she was doing her state business occupation tax. For all we know, it was Panda that ratted his ass out. It was Panda that ratted his ass out. And why not? Now that I think about it. And that's why Panda holds so much value even now. Because she knows where the bodies are buried. She knows all the dirty, nasty little secrets and shit. Now, obviously, she's displayed her loyalty, whether out of pity or just because she don't want to bother with the shit. Either way, it makes sense. Of not wanting to spill her guts. Even for profit, like she's not willing to spill her guts. But fucking A, that chick knows where all the bodies are buried. She knows all the dirty secrets, everything, because she was nosy. So there was nothing that DSP was probably really able to hide from her. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was fucking jerking off while he was in the office working late, she probably knew what he was doing in there. It is what it was. So the point being is that for all we know, she was the one who ratted his ass out when she said, hey, I no longer, and peep this. She may not have even overtly ratted him out. She may have just as easily have just called the state business occupation office and said, hey, that's no longer my address, you know what I'm saying, anymore. And I think she may have even stopped making soap after she left because she left the majority of her peripherals and materials there. You know what I'm saying? DSP complained later about how he was going to have to throw all that shit away, which ironically enough, Kat, when she moved in, she ended up cleaning up that office and throwing it all away. Oh, fun times, the shit that you miss. Anyway, so it's very possible that Panda was like, hey, I don't live there anymore. So, you know, take me off that list and I don't do soap anymore. So let me know what I owe for the last year and I'm done with it. And that right there is what tipped them off. Very possible. Because it's funny how all of this shit happened not long after she leaves. Then all of a sudden, the wall starts closing in on his ass.
About a company called DSPGaming that apparently was operating in Washington State. And the real reason that we got a whiff of you is because you were on a mailing list for small businesses in the state. Like you were registered on all of them.
Well, see, that leads back to Panda. That theoretically leads back to Panda. If you think about it, that doesn't have to be, it could be, but it doesn't have to necessarily mean it was all trolling. She was already registered at the state business occupation office. So it wouldn't be surprising that she was getting catalogs and shit from different businesses, either around the state or even around the nation, being that she's on the list.
If you take a look, it's DSPGaming. It says you're the sole proprietor, and it lists your address, and they signed you up for all of these. I said, well, that makes sense.
And if DSP was smart, when all of those early magazines and stuff were coming in, he should have just unsubscribed himself from all that bullshit. But instead, he let it keep coming to his address, and he supposedly shredded them or threw them away or whatever the fuck. So he was just making things worse. But because he's stupid, you don't know how to think ahead.
Man, I'm stupid.
because that's why I'm getting these contractor magazines. That's why I'm getting all these business-related mailings that I didn't sign up for. That's why I'm getting them all. Someone went out there with my information and registered me as a small business on all these free mailing lists, and then whoever it is that takes care of, you know, the state tax or business tax in Washington got an anonymous tip and went out and looked and said, oh, look at this. If they're registered for these mailings, they must be real, and then they started investigating me.
Unbelievable.
That's what's going on. So that's what happened initially.
But here's the thing, though. He says, so think about what he said. They found me on all these lists, all these different mailing lists, and that's when they started investigating him. And then they realized through their investigation that, yeah, he owes us money. Yeah, you fit the criteria where you owe us money. So, bitch, pay what you owe. And what does he do? No, I can't do that. That's not what I am. You guys need to let me slide. You guys got a misunderstanding. You already admitted that they started investigating you. You're already caught dead to rights. Deal with it. And then whatever money he owed, you know, he just cried to Linda and Dave and said, hey, I got caught up in this situation. Please help. He oinked a couple of times. He squealed a couple of times, and then they sent the money.
So I go to my tax attorney and I say, listen, we got to get you in the loop. You've got to talk to this guy because I don't know anything about this. You told me you were taking care of this.
That was the first thing you should have done before you even, instead of even, well, he probably should have talked to the agent just to get an idea of what the situation is. And then you immediately should have given the phone number in the email to your own tax preparator or accountant or whatever the fuck. You should have immediately sent all your information to that guy. Or you should have had them exchange information, I should say, and get that done. And then you can immediately remove yourself from the situation. And then someone has to go through you after the fact. Instead, you try to engage the guy directly, the agent, and whatnot. You thought that you could finagle yourself out of it. That didn't work. And now all of a sudden you want to bring the tax attorney in? Why is it that you didn't want to bring the tax attorney in directly or right away if the blunder was on him? Why is it that you wanted to smooth things over? It's, what are you trying to hide? Because if you think about it, it sounds like he was purposely trying to keep the tax attorney out of it because he was trying to hide something from him. That kind of makes sense if my theory is correct. And it was a family friend. I don't know if he thought that the guy would narc to his parents or what, but it's very clear that he didn't want him to be brought into this unless he had to. Make that, just think about it. Just think about it. And make that make sense.
When I moved out here, obviously it sounds like this guy's mistaken. Let's figure this out together.
Together.
And as I told him that, I actually had a thing, it's like an authorization form that my tax attorney would have to fill out in order to communicate with my personal info. It's like permission for him to give my personal info to this guy who's inquiring about business tax, okay? I send him the form and he goes, Phil, I don't know if I'm comfortable filling out this form. I really feel that at this point, since it seems like, you know, this might be something serious, you should get a tax attorney in the state of Washington.
Now, keep in mind, he says that he's been paying this guy for years to do his taxes. Now, all of a sudden, the guy's like, yeah, I don't, and he has all this experience, 30 years, he understands tax codes and all this bullshit. And now, all of a sudden, he wants to basically slide back into his shell and be like, yeah, I don't even know you, bruh. You should probably get somebody in your state. Make it make sense, bruh. Like, no, that doesn't sound right. Don't get me wrong. Life is way stranger than fiction, but fucking A, man. That, nah, B. I don't think that's what the case is.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I'm right.
You're the one who created that economic situation. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? I'm not a whiny baby.
Keep in mind, this guy, 30 years experience as a tax attorney, taking thousands of dollars for me, all right, to do my taxes over the years. He blatantly, I have it in writing from him, in an email that I saved on purpose. In writing, it says, you do not have to get another attorney. I will still be your tax attorney. He's taking on all that responsibility.
Did you send that to the fucking state and business occupation tax agent then? Did you send that to him? What agreement you guys had? Nope. Okay, then. So what good was it? Dumbass.
For me moving and doing my taxes properly.
Well, Phil, it looks like he was book smart and street smart, and you were just not smart. Just not smart. It sounds like you got played, but I'm pretty confident it didn't happen the way you made it sound. He's just a lying scumbag.
State of Washington.
I'm a brain dead idiot.
Literally says, well, I think you should just get another tax attorney now in Washington. So I went back to him, as politely as I possibly could, because it wasn't very polite, and I told him, absolutely not. You're responsible for this. You were the one. I have it in writing. You can't try to, weasel your way out of it. I have it in writing.
Now, here's the thing. Because he likes to do this thing about having it in writing. I want you guys to think back briefly. You know what I'm saying? Like, humor me for a minute. I want you to think back to the situation with Keemstar and Lol Cow Live, right? Back when it was called Lol Cow Podcast, theoretically, but whatever. Lol Cow Live. And how, Keem's like, yo, I want to get on the phone. I want to talk to you. We can try to figure things out, so on and so forth. DSP's like, no, why don't you just send me everything in writing, this, that, and the third. Then later on, DSP is like, oh, well, this is the reason why I wanted everything in writing, because if you try to scam me or fuck me over, then I could go ahead and just present this, and then, you're trapped. Present it to who? well, one, DSP will lie about paperwork like anybody else would, to be honest with you, who's a scumbag anyway. Two, Keemstar will fucking lie about paperwork. You don't give a fuck about that bullshit. Phil, are you going to get any of that notarized? No. So what the fuck does an email mean about anything as it pertains to a legal document? And yet again, even with what he's talking about here, it isn't a legal document. It's an agreement on paper. It's as good as a handshake, and DSP's handshake isn't worth shit because his word isn't worth shit. So unless it's a legal document, none of this means anything. He's stupid, so you don't understand that. And that's why Keem was able to discard his bullshit about wanting everything in writing because, bitch, do you have a lawyer to get all this shit notarized or whatever and negotiate for you? No, shut the fuck up.
Stating that you were taking on this responsibility, and I think that you need to fill out this form and start talking to this guy right away. Okay, so he did. My tax attorney did. They filled out the form, apparently sent it to the guy and said, I'm willing to talk with you or whatever. So then I went back to the guy who's investigating me for this business tax, and he even said, I recommend at this point, since it seems like your attorney from Connecticut is trying to shirk responsibility, you go get an attorney in Washington who's going to be able to analyze the situation, or else, you know, I'm going to end up holding you liable, and maybe you're not, you know.
So wait, so basically, if you listen to what he's saying, he's basically saying that the agent told him, hey, your lawyer or your attorney out there in Connecticut, he's off the hook. So you might as well go ahead and get your shit squared off here, or if not, you're going to eat all this. But Phil's so stupid, he's not even thinking about what he's saying. The agent's literally telling him, hey, your man's over there in Connecticut, yeah, he's off the hook. We've absolved him. So you better go ahead and get someone here to get your shit together, because if not, you're going to eat all this. You're a fucking idiot, Phil. You're a goddamn idiot.
No, you got to do your due diligence, cover yourself. Okay.
Well, supposedly he covered himself because he did the research before he even moved out there, allegedly. Whatever.
So, I did two things. The first thing I did is I did research legally online, and I said...
You mean the same research that you allegedly did before you moved out there? Womp womp.
I wonder what the liability is of a tax attorney who blatantly lies in an email and says that they're going to do due diligence and basically negligent, you know, because let's say, for example, the state of Washington finds me guilty of not filing business taxes for 3 years, right? Because now at this point, that was, what, August, September, so it was around 3 years at that point of unfiled business taxes, if that's the case. What's the liability on the tax attorney who screwed up? And I found my answers. The answers are simple. Basically, I'm responsible for the money, the actual tax money.
Yeah.
I would be responsible 100% for the tax money
Yeah.
that's owed to the state. Okay, no matter what, because I owed it if I owed it. All right. Now, what I could do is I could sue.
Yeah, you're not doing that. So let's go ahead and cut that shit right the fuck down. You're not doing that.
My former tax attorney
Why am I toxic?
for, well, excuse me, for fees, damages, and interest. Because basically, when you have unpaid taxes for an extended period of time, you get fees that are associated with that, late fees, as well as interest that's accrued on that makes it even higher. Plus, there may be, like, you know, let's say, for example, well, I had to get another tax attorney and I had all this cost and everything. I could try to sue my former tax attorney for all of that. Now, that would take forever. It would take...
Well, for one, I don't think he would have done that anyway. Two, theoretically, he was only paying the guy to handle his federal. So all of that extra shit falls on DSP no matter what. So that gets murky. I want to tell you, that's not my field, so it is what it is. But my assumption is, if he was paying the guy, he wasn't paying the guy. But if he was paying the guy, but he wasn't paying the guy. But if he was paying the guy, he was only paying him to do his federal, not state and business occupation. So either way, DSP is going to have to eat that. Take that. No diddy.
Years. It would have to go through claims court. It's basically going to be it would be a very time consuming and an expensive process. And the problem is, my former tax attorney is in Connecticut, so it would be a nightmare for me to do that because I'm not there, right? So basically, I'm shot. Like, I don't know how I could get anything out of my former tax attorney.
I mean, couldn't your parents couldn't your parents represent you in court on your behalf if you chose to sue the guy? I mean, every jurisdiction is different, but I'm just curious. It doesn't matter. He's not going to sue him. So he was never going to sue him. So it is what it was.
Because I don't have, number one, I just told you guys, I'm strapped for cash. I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck.
I know it's Christmas and we're supposed to be all nice and everything, and 'tis the season, whatever. Fuck all that, man. I'm gonna laugh all day on that shit. I'm gonna laugh all day on that shit because the way he was back in November of 2017 ain't too far from where he's at now. He's not in December of 2025. We're not too far off. There's been some slight upgrades. I wouldn't call them improvements, but upgrades. But it's not like our situation is much better.
just enough money to pay
I would argue that he's in far more debt and financial obligations now than he was back in 2017, obviously.
for everything I need to pay for. How am I going to have enough money and time to sue this guy when I have to keep streaming and keep paying the bills and everything? It's not possible. I can't do it.
So then how are you going to have the time to go ahead and sue detractors, trolls, haters, and critics? Oh, because it was just like what I told y'all early in the year. He thought he was going to go to the YouTube law. He was going to go to YouTube law tubers and have them take his case pro bono. And he thought he was going to make shit happen until they were like, either A, they said, nah, you're going to need to pay up, champ. Or B, they were like, you don't have a case. Because if you guys know, this is an obscure piece of fucking lore. I remember Tevin talking about this. I'm not sure if I can find the video, but I remember Tevin talking about this. When DSP first moved to Washington State, he had movers, obviously, because he ain't moving shit himself. And when they brought the bed in, I think, or the bed was being delivered at the same time, whatever, he basically finagled the movers to put the bed together for him. And he said that, hey, I'm a big YouTube creator, and whatever, I'll shout you guys out, and that'll kind of, that'll kind of balance the cost instead of him paying the $100 or whatever it was that it would cost to have them do it. And they agreed. They agreed to just put the bed together, allegedly. That's what DSP said. And I wonder if he tried to do that same shit with these LawTube guys, and they were like, nah, we get way more traction than you. So no, that will not be necessary, Mr. Brunel. You don't have a case. Stop. Do not reach out to us again. I wonder if that was the thing, but who could say?
Okay. The other thing I did, all right. The other thing I did is I got a new tax attorney. All right. Now this new tax attorney, no surprise. All right. No surprise. Very expensive. All right. No lie. I'm not gonna lie. $800 just to retain the services of this attorney, which I don't have. I had to put it, guess what? On a credit card.
What shows you what kind of fucking bum this guy is. You know what I'm saying? He paid all of his taxes on credit cards. Why do you think he had so many? Why do you think he had so many credit cards? Because all of his expenses went on credit cards. And then he just went ahead and paid the bare minimum, or the minimum monthly payment each and every month. That's the reason why he got in so much goddamn credit debt. And it makes a lot of sense. Because there's not too many people who put their taxes on a credit card. I don't know anybody who's ever done that before. I heard DSP do that shit. That's insane. But DSP don't know how to handle cash. So, womp, 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 womp.
Which I desperately am running out of credit. I have almost no credit left. I'm to the point where I'm massively overextended. The way it was working was I was paying everything down to the point where every 4 months I could pay my taxes, which would bring all my credit cards and shit back up. And then I would pay it down gradually. And then the taxes would do again. It would go up, So I'm like, on the end.
What the fuck? Holy shit. I didn't remember that part. So, holy crap. Oh, that's madness. That's fucking madness. Yo, that's insane. Wow. Well, you see what pigs can do. That's insane.
Of my extension here. I'm completely overextended. I have no liquidity. I'm to the point where I can't afford anything. Okay? So I have to get a new tax attorney. I had a meeting with this tax attorney. Didn't tell you guys, but this was all happening behind the scenes. That's what I mean. All this shit was happening behind the scenes for months. And basically the tax attorney told me he thinks I do owe some kind of business tax. He doesn't necessarily know how much, because there's some factors involved. What's qualified as a certain kind of income versus another kind of income. What's business taxable and what's not. And in addition to that, the fact that because now I am...
Oh, that's right. This was part of that little scam he was doing where he said he didn't know how much he owed. He didn't know how much he owed. He didn't know how much he owed. I remember that when and that's when you started getting into the weird shit about $9,000 for statues, or a $6,000 or $7,000 donation from somebody that he was trying to talk to behind the scenes, and all this other extra bullshit because he wouldn't come out and say exactly what the total was. Oh, I remember all that now. It's all coming back.
Haven't paid business taxes for 3 years.
That's insanity.
Since I've lived in Washington. There's not only going to be the taxes that I owe, but there's going to be those fees.
Oh, and let's not forget the $16,000 that he was going to eventually need the next year over. I think it was like 2018. That he wanted like $16,000 or some crazy shit. Oh, I remember all that now. That's all coming together. But here's what he's not telling you. That Cat has already came into the Snort Fort at least once at this point, and he had plans to move her in, which he ended up doing. He ended up executing those plans in February of 2018. That's the reason why all this is coming up on Thanksgiving, because then Christmas, in the beginning of the year, and he hoped he had just enough to go ahead and get Cat in there, and then he was hoping to get her ass right to work, and then he could use that to offset the taxes later. Food for thought.
Fees, interest, and he says, I told him the whole situation, and he basically said, listen, this is extenuating circumstances where you, number one, there's no way legally you could have enough knowledge to know what you owed for taxes here or not. Number two, you have it in.
Oh, now that I think about it, and SnortBucks brings up a good point. Who knows how much money he was trying to put the lien on Panda to be like, yo, I need to know, I need you to throw in more and more. And she's like, whoa, how bad a shape are we in then if you need me to contribute so much? So who knows what kind of financial pressure he's putting on Panda? You know what I'm saying? And he ain't slinging no penne to her, so that becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? A woman has needs, so it is what it is on that. So, like, the financial problems that chick was probably going through with this idiot must have been crazy. And then if you guys were following Panda on Instagram over the last few years, she only got herself out of credit card debt, may have been the last like 4 years, maybe 5 years, and then she got a new car. And I think it was her first car now I think about it. And she crashed that not too long after. I don't need to get into all that. You know what I'm saying? But if you know, you know. That was all going on before she purged a bunch of people off her Instagram. But there's still people in there. There's still people circulating in there, but she did a purge because she did a purge of them. And honestly, I think the reason why she did the purge of her Instagram wasn't because there was detractors and trolls in there or whatever. I think there were still some DSP fans in there. And I think they were getting on her nerves, and she was just like, you know what, then all y'all can get flushed, or at least the majority of you. But that's neither here nor there.
Writing from a 30-year experienced tax attorney in Connecticut saying that he was doing it right and that he would do it. So basically, you have extenuating circumstances to prove your innocence. So somehow he might be able to get some of what I owe disbanded, okay? But the problem here is that there's still going to be a chunk of money, all right, that apparently I'm going to owe. And the question is, what's the amount going to be? We don't know. It's probably, and he gave me an estimate. He says, just a rough estimate. It's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's not an estimate. And it makes me think, and I think it made a lot of people back then think, he knew how much he owed. And I think DSP was trying to go for like 3 times what the amount was. Because DSP is not going to just collect the money and then immediately give it over to the state. Hell no. Hell no. He wants his cut too. If he's going to beg for someone else to get this money, then he wants his piece of the pie too. And I think that's why he was so, he was purposely being, he was trying to be oblivious to the fact of what the actual total was. And that's why he kept stretching the shit out and whatnot. He tried to stay anonymous with it until he could figure out what was the sweet spot for how much money he could finagle out of these people.
It's not going to be $10,000, but it could be thousands of dollars. And the problem is with the interest, fees, all that's going to be associated with not paying this for years, it could end up being way more. It could balloon because of that, all right?
I'm here to play games.
So, basically, I'm in a position where I'm screwed. And I said, so what's the next step? What in the holy hell do we do? He said, well, what we need to do is we need to talk with this guy from the business department or whatever, work with him, figure out exactly what he wants us to do, go with his wishes and basically get you to consider what's called tax compliant status, all right? So basically take care of the back end shit before I worry about the future shit, okay?
Well,
now,
yeah.
what he thought is he's saying, since this is a extenuating circumstance, and I told him all about my finances and everything. I was like, listen, sorry, I just don't have the
So he spilled his guts and told him that he was broke and he has to beg day to day. That's crazy.
money. Like, if you right now put down a $5,000 to $7,000 tax bill in front of me and said, Phil, you owe this, I have no money to
Keep that amount in mind. 5,000 to 7,000. But remember, we don't know exactly how much he owes, but he immediately throws out 5,000 to 7,000.
pay it. I don't have enough credit to pay it. Nothing. Couldn't pay it. There's nothing I could do to pay you. It would just go delinquent, And he's like, well, what I think I'm gonna try to do, all right, is I'm going to try.
The fact that he allegedly told someone to their face, hypothetically, that, hey, or figuratively, that, hey, I'm gonna let that shit go delinquent if it's this amount of money because I can't pay it, is insane. It's insane. But people say he has pride, though. Look at it. He looks like an angry pig there. Not a hog, but an angry pig for sure. I can imagine a fucking squeal coming out of him right there.
To get it so that whatever you owe ends up being on a payment plan. And he says, I've seen payment plans that have gone as long as 5 years. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that for you. Maybe I could get you on a 3-year. But what I'm going to try to explain to this guy during this process is there's no way you have the money to just pay him. So if he wants his money, he has to wait, and he's gonna have to be working with you because it wasn't your fault.
What are you talking about? They work in the same fucking branch. It's not like he owes this money to one guy. He owes it to that whole department, and he's working with you to make sure that the fucking state get their money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see how he's trying to isolate this one guy, and this other guy is trying to help him. It's like, hey man, it's you and me versus this guy right here, and I'm trying to work with you so we can get this guy this money and apply to his wishes and to appeal to his wants and needs and shit, because I don't want to see you fucked up. Like, what the fuck?
Didn't know you owed this money. If I had known I owed the money, I would have budgeted. I would have had it and been paying it all along, right?
And he more than likely got some of those fees waived anyway.
So that's one issue. The other issue, all right, is that now moving forward, I also have to start paying this tax. And I've been told that basically whatever this tax is going to be for the year of 2017, which we have no idea yet, it hasn't been calculated yet, is going to be due on January 31st of 2018. What's it going to be? Could it be $1,000? $3,000? I don't even know what it is. And again, I don't have it. You know what I mean? I just don't have it.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
Now the good news is, this is not absolutely world-ending horrendous yet, all right? The good news is a few things. Number one, and no, by the way, this is not the IRS. People are saying IRS. The IRS is from the federal government.
That eventually came in later. That's the reason why he tried to nip that shit in the butt now, because he knew that he was going to have to start deferring payments from the IRS to pay the fucking state and business occupation tax. So that's why he kind of got triggered by that when he did. If not, he should have just let that shit go.
Not what this is at all. This is completely.
And here's the thing, though, too. People had already assumed that whatever the problem was that was going on behind the scenes that he didn't want to talk about was taxes anyway. So people had been calling it leading up to this point, no matter what.
Different. It's state-based. That's why when people are saying, oh, it was the IRS. No, it's not the IRS. The IRS has nothing to do with this. And by the way, thank God, I confirmed with the new tax attorney, my taxes are good in the federal level. Like he says, everything here's right. He's like, this guy did everything perfect at the federal level. It was just he didn't file anything for business taxes when you moved, and that's
because he was only paid to deal with the fucking federal tax. And the reason why the dude didn't take care of any, I was going to wait and hold on to this, but the reason why the guy didn't do anything with the state and business occupation tax is because DSP wasn't registered. It's literally DSP's fault. It's literally DSP's fault. The guy did what he was quote unquote paid to do, was take care of the federal, and he did. DSP was the one who didn't register. DSP was the one who chose not to, but he made sure Panda did. Fuck all that bullshit.
his fault, okay? But, federal level, you're good. So, thank God 2 tax attorneys now are telling me that my major taxes were done properly. Fuck, that would have killed me if I thought that was the case. My God, can you imagine that? That would have been tens of thousands of dollars, and that would have been it. That would have been the end for me, completely. The thing I'm...
Yes, because they were gonna... Because the state was gonna come and, seize his house literally the next month. That was gonna happen. Sure.
I'm nervous about 2 things, okay? Number one, what's going to happen when they finally determine how much I actually owe for these supposed back taxes, and how am I going to pay it? What's the payment plan going to be? How much a month? Especially now that I'm living month to month as it is with the money that I'm making. And number two, what's this oncoming looming payment going to be on January 31st that I'm going to owe? Because I don't know yet. I'm supposed to find out probably sometime in December. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the good news is, at least these past couple of months have been good. If you guys haven't noticed, things have been up. I've been telling you guys things have been up. I just did that special promotional event with Twitch a month ago, and, you know, I made some money doing that, additional money, that normally would not have been in, you know, something for me, so I made some additional money there. YouTube in the month of October was up. Sadly, now in November, it looks like it's back down, but for the month of October, YouTube was up, and I made some extra money there. And you guys, with your support on stream...
But that extra money got spent. So that none of that even really... Great screenshot. None of that shit really matters, because he spent all that money already. All that shit is gone, baby. It's gone.
Streams have been contributing significantly as well, to the point where it's helping, okay? It's helping.
It's helping.
But I'm being real here with you guys. I don't, like I said, I don't have the full story. I can't give you the full information. I don't know what I owe yet. I don't know when it's going to be due. But it looks to me like if I just keep making what I was making this year, I'm screwed. And literally, I have no way to pay it. So more than likely, what would end up happening is I'm going to get hit with a giant bill from...
How is it that you're overtly and covertly begging at the same time? That shit's crazy. Hey, I need this. Hey, I owe this fucking crazy amount of money. I don't know how I'm going to really pay it back, but I owe this crazy amount of money. On top of the fact, though, that I have been able to make money in other ways, extra money, if you will. But, you know, if whatever I've been making as of late, including the extra money, isn't enough, so I'm going to need even more money moving forward. He literally is overtly and covertly begging at the same time. So crazy. So crazy.
Whoever this is, business department or whoever they are, here's your bill. You owe this many thousands of dollars. And I'm going to say, sorry, guys, I don't have it. But what I'm going to have to do is sell my house. That's the only money I have. I have equity in this house. The good news is since
not a lot. Because here, oh, holy fuck, not a lot. Remember, he moved in 2014, right? Like middle of 2014. We're at the end of 2017. He only makes the bare minimum in payments and shit. He's probably barely touching the principal. We're in 2025 currently, and he's desperate to try to refinance his home, and he's still probably not going to pull what he needs or wants out of it. On top of the fact that I'm sure property values has dropped, or at least his, has probably dropped in the last few years too. So even if he sold his home, he would, at that time, he would have only broken even. And then he's moving back with Linda and Dave. Fucking A, bro. Fucking A, bro. And see, that's why, but see, in a way though, hypothetically, he set up that, hey, you know, my girlfriend's going to be moving in soon and set and third, and I have to bust my ass, you know, 2 times, 3 times as much now so I can keep this house so we can live here together. He was kind of setting the building blocks, so to speak. He was kind of setting the building blocks leading up to that. So at least in my mind, it kind of, I kind of see why he did some of the things that he did. Don't get me wrong, this isn't some master plan shit. He wasn't on some Monday Mad Boulder King nonsense. It just happened that shit kind of fell in place the way it did, but you can kind of see where his red hoof print is and how he tried to set things up the way he did and to have some benefit somewhere down the line. He may not have known where, but somewhere down the line.
I moved here in 2014, the equity in this house has gone up. I don't know exactly how much. I know a few houses in this area have sold for a lot of money, but they weren't necessarily in this complex, so I don't know what my house would sell for.
Complex? That's an interesting way of saying that. Most people would have said neighborhood or cul-de-sac, not complex. Huh. That's an unusual bit of wording.
In addition, selling the house is a very time-consuming process. I'd have to get the house ready to be listed, which is going to take at least a month to start selling shit out of this house, right? I have to sell all the furniture. I have to sell all the shit that's in the house to get it. I have to have people come in and start preparing the house, which I don't have money, so I don't know how I'm going to pay people to come in and have the house ready to be sellable. Just the walls of this office has all this soundproofing foam that's stuck to it that's going to destroy the paint. I'm going to have a full paint job redone on the house and everything. I don't have money for it, so how am I going to do that, right?
So basically, I can't leave, so you guys have no choice but to support me. Holy shit.
And then I'm going to have to put the house up for sale, right? List it. See what happens. Will it get listed? Will it get purchased? How quickly will it get purchased? How much money will I make on the...
Literally, sky is falling type situation. He's literally... He's literally stacking the deck, or he did. He stacked the deck so high that there's no way a dent could say no. Well, they weren't called dents back in those days, but you know what I mean. That a fucking DSP idiot couldn't fucking say no to him. They had no choice, essentially, but to try to save him. Hashtag save the house.
Purchase. How long will it take for me to actually get the money from the sale of the house? Then I got to worry about finding a new place. I got to figure out what I can afford. If I can afford a place out here, a smaller place, or if I'm going to move back to all the way to Connecticut, right? It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up because, again, I told you guys months ago, all right?
The rantings of like a 5-year-old. This has nothing to do with me. I did nothing wrong. I paid
Except for not registering the business, of course.
a guy with 30 years of experience who assured me he knew what he was doing to do my taxes properly, and he
did. He did. He did what you paid him to, allegedly. He didn't pay him, but whatever. Let's go with his story. He did exactly what you quote unquote paid him to do. He took care of your federal tax. You've already acknowledged that. You're the one who didn't register for state business occupation tax. So whatever money is owed to you is whatever it was owed to, is whatever you owe. End of story. You tried to play the system and you got fucked. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
did not do due diligence when I moved across the country to make sure I was doing my business taxes properly.
He didn't even do research at all. He basically just said, there's no state income tax.
Neither did you. You didn't do any research either. And he literally led with him doing the research on different states to see what would be beneficial to him.
Don't owe it, and he never went the next step. Now, 3.5 years later, he's shirking all responsibility, like he never told me that he could still be my tax attorney, which is insane. It's absolutely insane, okay? That's the situation I'm in. I can't sue the guy because I have no money to do it. Any money that I make has to go towards whatever I owe these taxes before I think of anything, right? Before I consider anything. So, that's the position I'm in. And the problem is, it's a short time frame. Like, basically, I'm going to find out by the end of the year what I owe. They're going to expect me to start paying it back in 2018. Plus, I'm going to have this big payment of whatever they think I owe for business taxes for the whole year of 2017 that I'm going to have to pay by the end of January. And then I'm going to have an ongoing payment of whatever this back taxes are every single month. And then, by the way, I still got to pay my federal taxes. Those haven't changed.
Look at that shit. He had thrown the gauntlet out this shit. He had thrown the gauntlet out here. This is literally fucking the Gouty King's Gambit. Like, there are 4 ways of attack. And who's going to rally behind the king to help him? Okay? We're literally fighting on all fronts. Fuck Napoleon. Fuck Hitler. Fucking Adolf Hitler has to take on fucking 4 different fucking great superpowers and shit to hold on to the fucking Snort fort. Who will rally to his flag, to his banners? Who will come and lay down their lives for the king? This is literally what this was. Fantastic, boy. I can't wait to go back over the old shit. Oh boy, so much fun, so much fun, so much fun, so much fun.
So I'm still going to have to pay that on top of all of this. So it's ridiculous, man. It really, and just think about this now. Seriously. This is what I'm trying to do. Every day I'm coming to stream. I'm trying to put out entertaining streams for you guys and gals.
Oh yeah, it was real entertaining. I gotta tell you.
And I'm trying to act like nothing's wrong. And I'm trying to act like there's no stress. And I am incredibly stressed to the point where, you know, like I said, I can't sleep at night. I'm not feeling good because of...
Oh, poor baby. Oh, poor baby. I'm not feeling well because I'm literally up till 4 a.m. and shit. Hitting the gin as hard as he could back in them days, boy. Fucking A.
This, and I don't know what's going to happen, guys.
And I've been looking for it too. One of the reasons why he was so sick is because, and he admitted this too, it's like, I'm not even sure if it's going to be in any of those pre-streams that are still up. He probably already sent those to the ether. But he admitted to taking a medication and whatnot if he was hungover to kind of help balance his ass out. And he had done that for a hot minute. That didn't become prominent until right before or right after the, oh, what's homie's name? The whole War Dog leader situation and with his brother. It came up around that time. And what I can't remember if it was before or after, but it was around the War Dog leader situation. Might have been a little bit before that, actually, when he had brought that up in like passing and shit. And I remember going over, it's in one of my older videos, but it was on that nonsense. So if that was the case, that was an issue too that this guy was doing and whatnot. So we'll see. Like I said, I'll see if I can dig that up. But he was doing all kinds of wacky, zany shit around that time back in those days. Just silly, stupid shit. I can understand why Panda got the fuck up out of there. All kinds of nonsense that chick was dealing with.
Because the thing is, there's no easy solution. There's no easy, even if I have to sell the house, I still can't sell the house fast enough to pay the taxes. So there's no way to do it. No matter what, I'm going to get screwed somehow. The question is, what's the degree of screwing I'm going to receive? Okay?
Oh man, the gaslighting back in those days was fantastic. Holy shit.
You don't want to be butt fucked. Trust me.
Am I going to get a minor screw job where they're very nice and they give me...
And then look at him right here, right? You know what I'm saying? As fucking heavy set as he was, and he had more energy back then than he does now. Even though it's like 8 years ago or whatever, so it is what it is on that. But he doesn't have nearly as much kinetic energy to beg now as he did back then, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Easy payment plan that's not an exorbitant amount of money every month. They understand the situation, or they're just gonna say fuck you and just hit me with thousands and thousands of dollars of tax bill and just pay it. And if you don't pay it, fuck you. We'll keep accruing fees on it. You know what I mean? This really sucks. This really fucking sucks. And again, it's not, you did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
How could the audience do anything wrong? How was that their fault? And then, ironically enough, he ended up shifting the blame in 2018. He did shift the blame to them. He was like, hey, I told you about the situation. I told you about my problem, and you guys came through and rallied. Well, because you guys rallied the way you did, it gave me the money and support that I needed to save my house. But now my taxes went up because I made more because you guys gave more. Oh, shit. Oh, what a zany time.
Legally,
You have to be brain dead fucking stupid to believe that.
everything was right, and now I get fucked. On top of all the shit that, just think of it this year.
I'm more about looking forward than looking back.
That's not true.
YouTube ad revenue plummets. Machinima relationship falls apart. Get fooled into trying to join an...
Eat a dick. Eat a dick. First things first. The YouTube plummeting because of the ad apocalypse. He could have easily have gone back to Twitch back in he went and reactivated his Twitch account in late 2016 because there was more ways of making money on Twitch. So he went ahead and reactivated his account so he could see if he still would be able to get the monetization, which he did because he was a partner, and he was going to be good on all that. Then the shit with ad apocalypse happened. Instead of him just transitioning over to Twitch and then using YouTube as an archive, which is what he said he was going to do anyway, he decided to bitch and talk himself out of his fucking machinima contract. Then you get into the situation with Fotabi and Laveria, and that was his fault for being a fucking dumbass, but thank God for him that SOK pulled his ass out of that situation. Just in case you don't know, that was them who did all the legwork on that.
MCN on YouTube that promises me the world and lies to me, so I have to quit and go back to Curse immediately.
But that was bullshit because he had sat there and said that he knew the situation with Laveria and Laveria/Fotabi. He knew that shit was off because a lot of the information on the contract was wrong. That's why instead of him applying DSPGaming to it, he decided to go ahead and sign KO Gaming to it, I think, instead, just to see what was what. And if they did come through on the managed partnership, then he wanted all the other channels to get a managed partnership as well. If they didn't come through with it, then he would say, oh, well, your contract has a bunch of invalid shit on it, so it's null and void and I get to walk away. So he was literally trying to scam them as they were scamming him.
Breaking up with my girlfriend, fiance.
That's your fault for not slinging that penne, even though it wasn't going to be very good and she wasn't satisfied with it anyway, but still. I guess the effort that count. I'm lying. Fuck all that. No woman's going to accept that.
Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention false copyright strikes. Remember the false copyright strikes I had in the summer? Right?
I'm not even willing to get into that at the moment.
That almost shut down DSPGaming. Forgot to mention those. Getting signed up for all...
Yet again, don't take every little thing that's offered to you. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that shit. He took... I just said I wasn't going to address this. What he was given was clearly troll art. It was clearly troll bait. And he fell for the hook, line, and sinker. He got what he got.
All these business mailings and basically being registered, even though I'm not, as a business in Washington, even though I'm not a business. You know what I mean? Which then...
Oh yeah, that's actually a fair point. Like, how would they have been able to put him on all those registries if they didn't have his basically all of his information? yet again, which yet again it leads back to me thinking that that stuff had Panda's information on it, or Leanna. It had her information on it. But it doesn't even matter. The point is he could have easily had unsubscribed all that shit, and he did it because he was lazy and stupid. So he got what he got.
Tips off because an anonymous tip, gee, I wonder who that was, who tipped off this business department that supposedly I'm doing business in.
And that SOK never came out and admitted that they did it. I mean, not to say that they would. I'm sure, I mean, SOK did a lot of fucking gay ops that they didn't come out and take credit for, so it is what it is on that. But, or at least they're alleged anyway. But, like, so I guess it doesn't mean anything that they didn't come out and say it, but still. They didn't even really hyper-focus on it that much either, so, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And ego's an ego, no matter how you play it.
Washington and not paying taxes, and now
that's why you got dudes on fucking Twitter spurging out about silly ass shit. Everybody wants their credit in some way, shape, or form.
On top of it, and then health too. Like I said, some health stuff's been coming up too, and it's all at once. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the flaming fuck am I supposed to do? You know? What did I ever do? What did I ever do to anyone on this planet that they would literally try to end me? This is what this is. This is because it wouldn't end. Even if I lose the house and I move back to Connecticut, they still will get out. They'll still come for me. They're still gonna, you know what I mean? It's not gonna end. They're still gonna be coming for me.
Who's they? You gonna put a word? You gonna put a name to some of this shit? You gonna put a name to this shit? Who's the primary guys that he could blame for shit back in those days? So we're in 2017. All right, you know what I'm saying? Fucking don't fail me here. Okay, so who did he have back in those days? Let's see. The remnants of SOK was probably still a thing, because I think this was, I don't know if they had fallen just yet. So you still have at least the remnants of SOK. You had Tevin, you had Theo, you had Argent, you had you obviously had your usual suspects. You had Snort, you had Mr. Huff Stuff, you had David Davison, you had Volt Boy, you had Soma Julius Cruz. Who else did you have out there at that time? You still had Eddie B43, you still had Secret Limited. And you had a bunch of people. You had a bunch of, and then then also the detractors that were on Twitter. So Detractor Twitter was still in live and full effect at that time and shit. Dragon Killer was still a thing at that time. So pick your poison on who it was, but he didn't want to name nobody. But pick your poison. There's a bunch of people you can choose from. I did half the work for you. Yeah, I said I did half. I really want to say I only did like 30%, but whatever. The primary players at that time and whatnot, for the most part, I've named them. I didn't name all of them, but I named the majority of them.
Money, give their money. Then that's all I care about. Anything for this, right?
Damn right.
So that's the situation, everyone. So honestly, first of all, I want to say to everyone, thank you.
There we go. About time we start to get to that bag. Make a good email later.
Thank you, you fucking worthless humans.
Because this year, the streams have been a relief. Me coming to stream and sharing gameplay with you and having fun with games again has been a fucking huge relief for me. From all the shit and stress that's been going on behind the scenes. It's been really hard to keep this story in for 2 months and not tell you guys anything about it. It really has. And by the way, don't plan on me giving you many updates unless I have concrete ones because, you know.
You don't have anything concrete here. Hey, I need a lot of money because I'm basically being butt-fucked 4 ways a Sunday. And I don't know how much I need, but I'm going to need a whole lot. So please help. But he's not telling them how much he owes. He doesn't know when the time frame he's going to need it. You know what I'm saying? He's literally told them nothing. He's basically like, give me all this money or I'm going to lose my house. He said literally nothing.
I don't want to just keep dragging this along. I don't want this.
Stop picking at your piggy ear there. Leave that alone. I'm going to have to boil that shit down later. It's already going to be enough trouble as it is. It might not even be edible now I think about it.
To be the subject of every stream. I just want to continue like I've been doing and having fun with gameplay or whatever. I don't want it to be every day talking about this shit. All right. And I want to say, I mean, people are being tremendously generous right now. You're seeing people are subbing and tipping, and I appreciate it. I really do.
I don't understand what they were thinking. Some people are just fucking idiots. What else can I say?
I mean, he's being honest. That's what he really thinks about people. That's what he really thinks about people.
You gotta be an idiot.
And that adds up and helps immensely. Don't get me wrong. This helps immensely.
There's nothing up there, Phil. What are you pointing at, my guy? Oh, at Teespring? Okay, I guess.
With all this shit going on, the problem being, I know I'm going to owe thousands of dollars.
Why aren't you pointing at Patreon? Doesn't that help too? Okay, maybe not. Never mind. I thought I'd ask.
And, you know, if someone just said in the stream chat something, doesn't Phil have one, like, really exorbitantly rich fan who could bail him out? I'm not asking for that.
How about someone ask him, hey, Phil, why don't you have any money in savings? How about we do that? Why can't that be a thing?
That would be, so I'm so grateful you guys have saved my fucking ass this year so many times already and made the streaming so much more fun and just everything that I would feel fucking bad if I was here asking you for that. That's crazy.
What? Exactly. See? I told you. Like, he's overtly and covertly begging at the same time. Son of a bitch. This is disgusting. This is nasty. It's nasty. Filthy.
All right? All I can ask you to do is to keep doing what you've been doing, and we just got to see what happens. All right? We just got to see what happens. We got to play it by ear and see what happens. Shout out to Floyd Sucks, who tipped me $2.
Well, guess what? You're a fucking idiot.
Shout out to Mushtaba, who did a 10-bit cheer and says, "Can't you prove it's not a business and not have to pay the 3 years of unpaid business tax?" No, the point I'm making is, if my tax attorney from Connecticut did due diligence and did research, he would have found out that people who make certain kinds of money have to be registered as a business, and I probably was supposed to and didn't, and that's why I'm now responsible for this tax, and it's his fault, because if he had done that research up front, the day I moved here, I would have registered as a business.
You're the one who's supposed to do the research before you even moved out there. He told us this in the front end. He literally started this whole story by he wanted to do research because he didn't want to get into a situation where he was going to have to pay personal state tax again. Fucking A, man.
And started paying the tax, and I didn't, and it's his fault.
The country of Afghanistan tipped me $50. I love it when I see the stupidity. A pimp-ass bitch tipped me $100. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Are you a functional retard? I have to ask.
Why? Oh, a troll. Troll tip of $2, so I ignore you.
Why am I toxic?
Astro Jetboy did a 10-bit cheer. He says, "Does it feel a little better getting it off your chest?" It does. You know it does. Even though I know saying this and getting this off my chest isn't going to help anything.
Why are you closing the door? There's nobody that lives in the house with you. Interesting. I don't know why I never noticed that before the first time around. There's nobody else in there. Like, there's nobody that lives with you. So unless he heard a noise and he's trying to, and that was going to be his last line of defense. That was going to be his last stand up there. You know what I'm saying? Gouty custard and shit. The fall of the fucking Snort fort. I don't understand why we did that.
Now it's hot in here, by the way. That's why I'm opening the door again. Even though I know it's not gonna, it might not make anything better. It's better at least get out. Now you guys know what I'm going through. You guys understand what's happening, you know? You understand why some nights I can't fucking sleep. I'm like, am I close to the last night in my house? This is bullshit, you know? But it does feel a little better to finally get it off my chest now that you guys know what's going on.
And the thing is, right? If the situation is as bad as he says, you know he was already in Linda's purse. He was already deep in Linda's purse trying to get that money. So he basically cherry-picked these people. He ain't sat there and licked this whole situation twice, maybe even 3 times now that I think about it. Because if you think about it, go to Linda and Dave and see if they can help you with the bulk of it, if not all of it. Then go ahead and fucking drain these idiots for it and whatnot, because he's going to want his cut of the money. On top of he needs money to get fucking Cat from Michigan over to the Snort Fort, or to Washington at the very least. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about all the fucking rods he has in the fucking fire and shit, we're doing a whole lot of maneuvering. We're doing a whole lot of begging on multiple fronts to get shit going. God damn, Phil. He doesn't have the mental dexterity to do stuff like this anymore, though.
Although I couldn't, again, the health thing, I can't reveal everything. At least now you know partially what's going on.
Unbelievable how people get fooled by this shit. Seriously, I'm gonna need your guys' help. I really am. I'm gonna need your support. I need it. There's people who depend on me. What?
Yeah, I was about to say, who? Panda don't? She don't live there no more. You're literally by yourself. Who depends on you? Oh, Cat. Is that what it was? It was Cat? Evil holiday laugh.
What? There's people who, they find me, I mean, I believe, as an inspiration.
Oh, that's funny.
What? I've been doing this for 10 years, and every possible fucking thing that's been thrown at me, I've found a way to get through. I've got to find a fucking way to get through this. I have to.
By begging. Okay. Going back to Old Faithful. Holy shit.
Phil's my daddy did a 10-bit cheer. He said, "Let's buy a lottery ticket this week." I buy a lottery ticket every week. Once a week, I buy a lottery ticket, Justin.
Yeah, he do. He never gave that up. He's always done that. He does that to this very day. He just don't talk about it.
case. Because, hey, that $1 or $2 a week, maybe one day.
It's more than that. I would say he's probably throwing down like $10. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. It is what it is.
Hey, right? Fuck, man. And honestly, and I'll be real with everyone. If I ever hit the lotto, you know, first thing I would do, turn off Patreon, turn off cheering.
He's full of shit. He'd never do that. He'd never do that.
Tipping. I don't need your...
Or if he does it for a day or two and then be like, hey guys, I'm going to turn contributions back on just because I don't need the money. You know what I'm saying? But I know that there are people who still appreciate me and, you know, every little bit helps. And even though I'm well off, you know, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about money anymore. You know, maybe you guys want to, you know, contribute just because you appreciate me being here. And then that will slowly but surely be finagled into, well, guys, I've been talking about suing these detractors, trolls, haters, and critics for stealing my fucking content, my shit. Well, now, even though I'm in a very good position financially, maybe you guys want to contribute to a fund dedicated to going at my detractors and finally getting the justice that I deserve. I guarantee you it'd be something along those lines. He would somehow try to bend it and twist it and manipulate it to being something along those lines. Fish gotta swim. The pig's gotta snort.
money. I'm here to have fun, and I would not stop making streams. I would still be here. I would still be here because I love it.
I love doing this. I love doing this. I love streaming. I love talking to you guys. I love gaming. I did it as a hobby before I did it as a job. I'm here because I love what I
You couldn't get paid to do it, so that doesn't really count.
fucking do. Not this. And that's why all this is so bad. Anything for this, right?
IRS came for DSP, did a 16-bit cheer, said, it's okay, Phil, we love you. YOLO Dobber did a 10-bit cheer. Said, didn't you research what that Washington takes business tax? That's pretty much like your state tax in Connecticut.
Dude, I am not a tax attorney.
He literally, but see, he caught him though. He did catch him. He was like, yo, you told us you did research. And he's like, yeah, I did. I did do the research. Then he says, I went to my tax guy and see what they said. And he said, just only take care of the federal. So he's literally getting caught up in his own lie. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
I am not a tax attorney.
Where was Third Eye the Third at? Because he would have definitely caught that shit early back in those days. Third Eye the Third would have been on him for that.
I had a tax attorney who I paid to do that for me to make sure I'm doing it right. Why would I then go and research it myself too?
But he literally led with that. He led when he was doing the research. Holy shit. Got his own story. Immediately got memory hold. Fantastic. Fantastic. Phil, past Phil, you're giving me more and more incentive to go back and do this old shit. I'm about to dedicate 2026, at least on the Fight Club channel. I'm going to dedicate 2026 to fucking skinning you. Not that way, only iced coffee. You're going to have to do that yourself. But I'm going to definitely peel a bunch of bacon off your back. Old bacon. Maybe aged, cured bacon, I guess we could call it. But that's definitely what a thing now. Holy shit. Holy shit. Just looking at it from a new perspective, it changes the whole dynamic, the whole situation. Fun times.
That's the point. That's why you pay someone like that lots of money to do the right thing.
Yeah, but you still got to do your due diligence. Literally, the guy at the tax office told you that, and you said you agreed. Fucking mongoloid.
Why am I toxic? Your bully, your what? Your bull Tyrone did a 30-bit cheer and said, Fappy Wanks give.
Was he thinking? Now, keep in mind, low tier God was floating around at this time too, people. He was wanting to, he wanted to play with low tier God in some Street Fighter, even back in 2017, early as 2016 actually. So keep that in mind. And maybe that's why he had himself a nice little chuckle over that Tyrone situation. But it's amazing how Tyrone really became a player when fucking Cat moved in. Oh, so much fun times, I gotta tell you.
Oh my god. Golden Colts just did a 840.
Golden Colts, holy shit. Tevin can tell you guys a bunch of fun stories about Golden Colt, but one of the main things I'd like to point out is how much money that guy used to contribute on Phil's day off. He used to fucking send money to Phil's Twitch streams before Phil even started streaming, or even when he was on his day off. You know, $10, $20, whatever. That shit adds up. That was wild. Golden Colts was like known for doing that. That was like his thing. Crazy stuff, man. Fucking crazy.
5-bit cheer. You're an idiot. You paid me money. All of your mothers just tipped me $100. This guy fucking sucks my dick. That was delicious.
Thank you guys. Fuck. Thank you. Wow. It's still going. I can't stop. You guys keep going. This is amazing.
Oh my god, I just got another $100 tip from the king. He says, stay strong. Thank you. I got paid for your stupidity.
Thank you guys.
I bet he wishes that he still had days like this. I bet he wishes he still had situations like this. Holy shit.
Fuck. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so tired, but I'm happy that I got off my chest and you guys are being supportive and, you know. Thank you guys. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's until the detractors got their hands on it. Then the whole situation changed. Then there's a whole new battleground waiting for his ass. Congratulations, you were able to rally the peasants. The barbarians are still at the gate. Oh, the fight hasn't even begun to start yet.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
If I could get down on my hands and knees and say thank you and still be on camera, I would do it. Okay? I seriously would do it.
Shameful. Absolutely fucking shameful. Disgusting.
Oh my god. Fluffy Shits just tipped me $100. Thanks for the money, stupid fuck.
Who? Negate. Just tipped me $10. Says Happy Thanksgiving, Phil. Thank you, everyone.
Good job. Thanks for the money. You're stupid. Thank you, Dooley, for a $5 tip. I appreciate the tip. And I'm $5 richer, so thanks, moron. Thanks for the money, dummies. Because that's exactly what you fucking are. A bunch of fucking empty-headed idiots who paid me money to get absolutely nothing out of it. Thanks. Wow. I prefer a penne.
Oh, boy.
Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar.
Yep.
I have a micro penis.
Well, that's what Cat and Panda say, or at least allude to.
Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God, I wish I fucking was.
That never gets old. All right, ladies and gentlemen. There you go on that. Yeah. So that's gonna be. Well, that's my plans for 2026. Holy shit! At least some of it anyway. I'll be waging my campaign on that. But holy shit, bro. The fuckery that went on back in those days is amazing, and I still have. I guess it depends on when this comes out. I still have at least 2 more classics from back in the day mixed up with, you know, some of the semi-current shit to deal with too. So that'll be fun. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, big ups to SnortBucks, big ups to Chio, big ups to all you. Thank you guys very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I will catch you guys for the next one of these tomorrow and whatnot, as 12 days of Goutmas, part of 25 days till Goutmas keeps trucking along. Truckling. It's not even a word, I don't think. Anyway, fun times to be had. Thank you guys for tuning in. And season's greetings and happy holidays. And take care of yourselves, people. Take care. Oh, man. Later, people.